Hello and welcome to a new video. And in this one we're going to be looking at token lights. That's lighting for tokens, either player tokens or NPC tokens. So the first thing we're going to need is a map, and we're also going to need a token or a player. So we're going to choose Bob the Fighter here, and we're just going to add him to this map. And when we unlock the map and turn on the player preview, obviously everything is dark, so we need to give Bob some kind of light source. We've done player preview off for a moment. Now the easiest way to get a light source onto a character is to go to our effects menu, and we'll see here that on the top we have got some predefined lights. Now these are exactly the same as the lights that we saw in the previous video. If we go to lighting here and go to lights, these are the same presets as we have here: candle, lamp, torch, lantern, etc. Now, what presets you have it might depend on the rule set. They may have the same names, but they may act differently in the rule set that you're using. But at any rate, the easiest way to get a light onto Bob here is just to simply select one of these. Let's select the torch and just drag and drop this onto Bob's combat tracker. We should also have been able to drop it onto the map, but I probably missed that because we weren't in play mode. At any rate, so now Bob has a light. If we go to player preview, we can see that he's got a light source, and when we move Bob around, the light source moves with him, and of course the fog of war, which we've got turned on, then starts to show up. Now, obviously, any of these light sources is going to work. If we delete that one and we go to the lantern, then we now have the lantern on, and you can see it's on the combat tracker as well. We've got a duration for it and everything like that, and we move Bob around, and he's got his light. So that's the easiest way to add a light to a token that's already on the map. Now, if we don't want to use one of the standard lights, then we can use effect to create a light on the character. So let's remove this light here, and let's open up Bob's character sheet, and we'll go to the Actions tab. We're first of all going to unlock the sheet so that we can do some editing, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to add a power. And in the right hand box here, let's call this lights. And in this left hand side, we're going to create a light. So let's just call it a small torch just for fun. Once we've got that, then we're going to right click over this line. We're going to add action, and we're going to add effect. This is going to give us our new effect line, and then we're going to click on the cog icon to open up our dialog box. So we can start off with calling this a name and then ending it with a semicolon, just to give us an idea of what it is that we're doing here. And then we need the keyword, which is light, and as usual we end it with a colon. Now the next bit here is going to be the range of the light, and you can have any range if you want. So if we put in 10, then what that means is that we're going to have bright light for 10 feet, and then we're going to have dim light for a further 10 feet. And that's essentially all we need at this time. That's fine. We can then actually add another one of the presets, if you like, which will take the color of that preset. It won't take anything else like the how far the light extends. It'll take the color of that light. So if we just call this torch, light 10 torch, then that's what we're going to get. And we'll set the targets to self, and we would set the duration here normally, but I mean, if it's lasting 10 minutes, then 600 rounds or whatever it is. Right, okay, so we've created our effect. If we go back into close that and then we just apply the effect, and you can see that the torch has now gone on to Bob, and he's got a 10-foot bright light, and then he's got a 10-foot dim light. Now we can vary this quite a bit using these effects. So if we go back into that effect here, now supposing that we didn't want we wanted the dim light to go out a little bit further. So what we can do is we can put two numbers in here separated by a hash. And so, or a slash. So let's say we want the bright light to be 10 and the dim light to be 20. Now this means that the dim light comes out from the source out to 20, but obviously the first 10 will be bright, and then we'll get another, the 20 will go out further. So basically this is the same as 10, 10. So instead of making it 20, let's make it 15, and it'll probably be a little clearer. Now we've got torch here as our light, and that's taking the color of the torch, but we can decide which color that we want by adding in a hexadecimal code here. So the hexadecimal code is 8 digits. Each digit is 0 to F, so it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it goes A, B, C, D, E, F. And that's the 16-digit number, that's the hexadecimal code. The first two digits are going to be your alpha channel. That's basically how bright it's going to be. Your next two are going to be the red channel, and then the next two green, and then the final two blue. So if we wanted a bright red light, then we want FF, which is going to be the alpha channel, so that's going to be bright. And then we want FF again, because that's going to be our red. And then we're just going to have 0, 0, 0, 0. Everything else will remain the same. Now we can further change this light. We can make it flicker or pulse or whatever. So if we wanted this light to flicker, then we're just going to add in flicker. And then we can define how fast that flicker is going to be. So let's make it 75. So this is a whole built-up effect for this particular light that we're going to be putting onto Bob. So we're done here. We can close that, and then we can take this one off the combat tracker, and then we can add this light on. So you can see that that's given us a bright light out to 10 feet. Then we've got another dim light out for a further 5 feet. We've got our flicker on, and the color of the light is red. So you can experiment with these and do whatever you like with these lights, with a combination of the distance, the color, and whether or not there's any kind of effect on it, like a pulse or a flicker or whatever. And you can also determine how fast those flickers or pulses or whatever flashes go. Now another thing that we can do, let's just take that one off now. Another thing we can do is we can actually add in our own predefined lights if we wanted to. If we go to the options panel here, we can see we've got token lights, and if we click that, we've got a dialog here where we can actually add in a new light. So let's suppose that Bob here had some kind of magical sword which gave off blue light when he has it drawn, and we want to add that light to Bob. So we're going to click on the green plus button to add a light. It's going to give us a new blank line. We're going to open that, and we've got a dialog box here now which we can fill in, and you're going to be familiar with all of these because it's exactly the same as what you would see with any of these lights. If we open up lamp here, we can see that it's got brightness, dimness, what animation it has, the animation speed, the fall off, a tag, and the duration, and a color. So we just need to fill this in. So we give it a name, so let's just call it sword. Now it's going to be a blue light, so let's see if we can pick a kind of bluish light. That'll do fine. It's only going to give out bright light for like 10 feet and then maybe dim light for let's say 15 feet. We can add in fall off values. Let's make them both 50 just for fun. We don't want any animation on this one. This is going to be a steady light, so we don't need to worry about the speed. And then we're going to give it a tag, so we're just going to call it sword. And the duration, let's just give it 600 again. So what we've done now is we've now created our own light, and when we close this off, we'll close the effects and reopen the effects, we can see now that we now have our sword light, predefined light on here. So we can now just click on this and drag it, and we can give it to Bob, and he now has his nice light. We might want to change the color on there. That's not very blue, but there you go. So we can create our own lights, predefined lights, and we can drag that onto a token, or we can just drag it onto the combat tracker as well. Now, furthermore, since we have now created this light, we can also use that light in an effect. So if we come back down to this effect here and open this up and just take all of this off just now, and we're just going to call it a sword. We could change this, of course, if we wanted to, and call it sword. Take out that extra I. And that's really all that we need for that, because we've got the light defined. It's going to tell us that. And if we now cancel this, and we'll get rid of this, and then we put that effect on, and then you can see that the sword has gone on to Bob, and it's taken all the values from the light that we predefined. So that's two ways you can add in your predefined lights, and you can add in lights for everything or anything really. There is a third method for applying lights to a token. I wouldn't recommend this method for applying lights to player characters. I would recommend this for adding a token or adding lights to a token which is not a player character or an NPC. I'll show you what I mean by this. So let's first of all actually get a token. Let's find a torch, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drag this torch straight onto the map, and we're going to make sure that the torch is selected. And then we're going to go back into our lighting menu here, and in the top panel here we can see we have a token light option. So we're going to select that. We're going to just take the preset as torch. But obviously you can edit any of these. You can make the thing bright, dim, you can make it flicker, whatever. You can change the color. You can do everything that you would be able to do with a light that you were putting onto the map, for example. And then we must make sure that we've got our token selected, and then we're just going to click on this add light button, and when we do that, then that light is then attached to this token. If we go to play mode, we can move this token around, and because we've just put this map or this token directly onto the map, the players or the DM can move this token around. This is useful for something like a light spell, for example, that's been cast on something which is moving or whatever, but this is not the method. You can use this method to, I mean, we could, for example, if we select Bob here, back to this lighting menu and token lights, make sure Bob's are selected. We can now, if we wanted to, add that light onto the player token as well. I don't recommend that you do this for players really, because it doesn't appear here up on the combat tracker, and you have to come back into this panel here to switch that light off. We've got a delete light button, so if we delete that button, then that's taken that light. Oh, we'll have to go into play mode to move them. Well, that's actually left that light on Bob. It's probably taken off the other one. But anyway, with the it's making sure we've got the token. If we delete the light, then it's removed it from the bulb. I think I know it added both. So up here in the top right, you can see a 0 out of 0. So it shows that this token has not got any lights on it. We select it again and then go to add light. We can see we've got 1 out of 1. So you can actually have several lights on to the token. But as I say, I wouldn't recommend this for adding into players. Um, it's more for, I would say, for a light which is kind of independent of the players and is something which is on the map that moves around. And as I say, you can add these lights onto NPCs as well. If we have a little NPC here which we've got onto the map, um, then we can just go into either that light here, we can add them from here, or we can simply just go into our effects menu and we can drag that onto the token, or drag it onto, oh, again, we're not in play mode. It only works when you're in play mode. Drag this onto the token, and then the NPC now has a light, and when the NPC moves around, the light goes with it. So that's the several methods of getting lights onto tokens. I'd highly recommend that you use the effects. You've got a lot more scope for different kinds of light, different ranges and that kind of thing. But if you're happy with just torches for your players, or your players are happy with torches or lanterns or whatever, then by far the easiest method is just to use one of the presets and just drag it onto the token or onto the combat tracker. But if you want more control and you want different colors, different ranges, and that kind of thing, then create the effects in the player's actions tab and apply the effects from there. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.